Well, hello roofers and weather lovers. I am Peyton Gallion here with your Wednesday weather forecast here with Hail Trace. Today we're going to talk about a few things. Starting off, north central U.S. does have the chance of storms today. I'm talking about Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, and are at a risk today. Also, we are going to talk about how hot it is. There's extreme heat danger across many and multiple states. So we're going to talk about the risk going along with that. And we're also going to take another look at the tropics. They've been kind of quiet, but trends, we do have a system we're watching, and areas in the Gulf are extremely warm, which is fuel for those tropical systems. So right now we're going to talk about our upcoming events. In 2 weeks, we're going to be at LaBerge Casino in Baton Rouge. Come see Derek, come see the whole gang out at LaBerge Casino for our All-Star Stadium tour. But this time we're at a casino. How's that for you? So taking a look at current conditions, we can see that we had this storm system earlier this morning in northern Louisiana, southern Arkansas. There was a severe thunderstorm threat with this complex of storms. There's also a flooding potential going on, but throughout the morning, those storms have died down as they continue making their way across the southern U.S. And as we go up north, this is that severe weather threat I was talking about. You can see that bow echo with this line as it makes its way towards Chicago, and then later tonight down here in Kansas City, that's when you have your severe weather threat. So this area just needs to be on alert all day. And when we look at those current temperatures, you can see just how hot it is. At noon, 96 degrees in Dallas, 94 in Houston, even 79 out west. It's going to be continuing to warm up. I mean, 90 in Houston, 96 in Corpus Christi, just this whole area along the Gulf. This is where those heat warnings are. This is where you need to take those precautions for yourself so you don't get dehydrated in those heat illnesses, because the state of Texas, you are burning up. So once again, that storm threat for tonight, you can see that future radar going throughout the rest of the night and into tomorrow, and you can see that hail threat once again making its way through the Kansas City area and dying out once it gets to the Memphis area by Jonesboro tomorrow. So getting to that hail forecast and seeing who sees what. I know Kansas City, you see yourself right in this, but I want to preface that this is going to be a very isolated threat. It doesn't mean widespread, everyone's going to get baseballs coming at them. This is just meaning isolated across areas in the red. We have that possibility. We cannot guarantee it, but anywhere in the orange and yellow, we have that threat of seeing some hail as well, up to golf ball size as well. So looking forward to that Kansas City forecast, once again, timing on this system is going to be from 7 p.m. to midnight. So another night of rumbling thunder, and you need to protect your cars. Once again, this doesn't mean everyone's going to get those baseballs coming down from the sky, but there is that chance. Up to 2.5 inches of hail in diameter. The chance of seeing an inch in diameter hail, it's probably 50-50. And then larger hail, again, it's going to be low because not everyone's going to see it, but there is that risk for it to happen. Kansas City roofers, I know you are watching. And with that hail risk for today, there's also that wind risk, widespread, stretching from parts of Oklahoma, Arkansas, Kentucky, all the way to Maine in the northeast. Just this entire area is going to experience some type of storm system today that is just going to bring those strong winds. So make sure you have everything outside either secured down or bring it inside so it doesn't become flying debris and harm someone's property. Even though roofers, I know you might want to hear that, but hey, we can deal with those straight line winds and some shingle damage. So once again, just an overview of cities in this area: Indianapolis, Memphis, Kansas City, St. Louis, places at that hail risk once again. We also do have a tornado risk for today. It is low, it's not zero, meaning we cannot rule it out, but areas not including Chicago, but suburbs just south of there, talking about Joliet, St. Louis, Des Moines, and Kansas City. Once again, just be on alert, have your severe plan in place in case that does happen. And now getting to that heat, you can see all these areas either in orange or purple or this dark red. That is where there's some type of heat warning, either a heat advisory, an extreme heat watch, or an excessive heat warning. This excessive heat warning, does include portions of Houston, DFW, Oklahoma City, and Tulsa. This is where feels like temperatures are in the teens, and even places like Phoenix are reaching consecutive days of being over 100 degrees. This is not uncommon for the summer, but however, how long we are experiencing it is changing. And that is why we are seeing this is a very warm summer. And looking at Oklahoma City today, it's going to feel like 111, getting into that triple digits. The actual temperature is not going to be in the triple digits, but that's how we're going to feel all the way into your Sunday when we finally feel like we're back in the 90s. Rain chances throughout the next few days are going to help lower this. However, it's not going to diminish it altogether. So still take those precautions to stay hydrated. Make sure you do not get sick with that heat. Now tomorrow we have that storm system from Kansas City making its way through southward, and then tomorrow night we have another storm system coming through the Oklahoma City metro and Tulsa area and knocking on your door in Jonesboro for your Friday morning. I feel like these storm systems we've known all too well in Oklahoma City the past few mornings. You have your power either go out, you have the emergency alerts go off on your phone, just the torrential rainfalls that are following. And then up north, we are watching some more storms going through the state of New York, Vermont, that already has dealt with a ton of flooding the last few days with that high flood threat that happened a few days ago. Now, the hail threat for tomorrow, once again, it covers a very large area, because we are monitoring different storm system making its way through Oklahoma and Arkansas and even up into New York, Pennsylvania. So a closer look at cities impacted. Again, this is for tomorrow. We're not as set in stone as things. This is just for you to get prepared in case it does end up happening and in case if it's higher than what we're forecasting. Places up from Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and continuing going into those New England areas need to be on alert. Now switching over to the tropics. So what we have coming off of the African coast is Saharan dust, and this is going to make its way slowly towards the U.S. You might notice a little bit of a difference in the sky with the haziness. However, it doesn't make that much of a difference, but this Saharan dust does diminish any threat of developing storms that we do have, just because it disrupts the area as a whole. And you can see that wind shear is also very low, but areas in the blue is where we have that highest wind shear. As that dust comes off, you can see that it's going to continue and make its way towards the Puerto Rico area, the Caribbean, and into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, we also are watching these warm waters. With El Nino, we are watching how it could be a normal year for storms. However, the water is warming, and warm water is fuel to developing a hurricane. So these lighter colored waters are warmer temperatures, and you can see once we get closer to the Gulf of Mexico, that's where the waters are extremely warm. I'm talking 80, 90 degrees almost, where if a storm comes into the Gulf, it's going to develop and it's going to continue developing, because this is kind of the pathway the storms into August and in September like to take. So hopefully these water temperatures end up going down. However, they are extremely warm for this time of year in July. And for July, we aren't very common with any hurricanes or any developing storms. However, we are watching this area in the Atlantic. It doesn't look like it's going to impact any form of U.S. territory. Over the next 2 days, a 40% chance of development, and over the next 5 to 7 days, we have that 50% chance of development. This is likely going to become what we call a fish storm that stays out over water and doesn't really impact any sort of land. If it does, it will be towards the European area as it continues across the Atlantic Ocean. So that is all I have for today. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. And as always, make sure you follow us not only on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, but also TikTok. We post a ton of fun content over there, and you can always stay up to date with any sort of storms on our stories. We talk about our risk every day on our stories, teasing our forecast. And as always, it was great talking to y'all this morning, and you can always reach out to us if need be. Thank you.